Students, I am so glad to be able to visit you today. My name, if you don't know me, is Captain Kindness. A little bit about myself before we get going today. I live in the magical city of Mercer, North Dakota, where I live with all of the Avengers plus Superman. The Incredible Hulk eats boxes of cereal, not just cereal, but he eats the whole box. He loves ketchup. Captain America wakes up every morning at 5:37 a.m. and screams the national anthem in the shower. And Superman is a complete neat freak. He gets mad if we leave anything around the house. So every day is an adventure in the magical city of Mercer, North Dakota, in the double wide in which I live with my friends, the Avengers. But today, I am thrilled to be able to spend some time with you talking about how you, that's right, you boys and girls, are going to be superheroes. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, wait a minute, Captain Kindness. How in the world can I be a superhero? In fact, how do I really know that you're a superhero? How did this whole superhero thing start for you? And that's a fair question. It's fair for if I'm going to help you become superheroes, you have to know how I became a superhero. And so I'm going to show you a little video right now that explains how Captain Kindness discovered his powers. Check this out.
You've heard how Superman got his powers. You've heard where the Incredible Hulk came from, and Spider-Man. But have you heard the story of how Captain Kindness discovered his powers?
Several decades ago, I went through a sort of crisis in my heart. Sometimes the way the world works, specifically, I felt like there was a lack of kindness. People get up in the morning and tight roll their pants and they go to work. But do they forget to treat one another with kindness? And more than that, I was troubled by the fact that I couldn't do anything about it. Who am I? I'm just one person. I'm no superhero. And right when I was about to hit rock bottom, I decided to go to the grocery store to get a bucket of cheese. And that's where it hit me. What if in these small but well-manicured hands is the very power to change the universe? What if I raised my hands in the certainty that solutions abound, and suddenly I discovered that I do have the power. I can change the world. I can open doors through kindness. I was a man possessed with nicety. I was a man overwhelmed with goodness. From that moment on, I was Captain Kindness. I wasn't just a strapping young lad with a dashing hairdo. I was a superhero, ready to change the world one person at a time, one act at a time. And I hope, my dear friends, that you'll join me.
I hope that was helpful to you. It's always fun to relive that day when I realized that within these small, well-manicured hands holds the very power to change the world. And my friends, that's the same thing with you. You have the power within you to do some fantastic things, both at school, with your friends, and everywhere else in your life. And that's my goal today, to help you do that. But I'll be honest with you. That sounds great, but it's not always easy. It's not easy being a superhero. Not only do I live with a bunch of really difficult guys at the double wide trailer in Mercer, but there's always enemies. Superheroes always have enemies, don't we? You know? The Avengers have Thanos, Batman has the Joker and Penguin and the Riddler and all those guys. The Transformers have the Decepticons, Autobots and Decepticons. Superheroes always have enemies. And it hasn't always been easy for me because you know what? Some of my biggest enemies have been inside my head. How many of you have doubts and fears like I do? One day I decided I was going to try to learn how to fly, but I was so afraid to try to fly. And when I still fly today, it's one of the worst things about me. I'm a terrible flyer. I can't fly very well at all. In fact, today, I was just trying to fly today and I hit a bird. Broke my glasses. Yeah, these are new sunglasses. I have my own doubts and my own fears that stand in the way of me being a superhero, but they don't have to. You see, everyone has them. It's more what you do when those doubts and fears come that really makes you a superhero. I have an enemy in the real world too. His name is Colonel Cranky. And I want to tell you one more story about a day when Colonel Cranky came to town to try to make everyone unkind. And let me tell you how easy it would have been for me just to stay on top of the big tall building where I was standing on the Capitol building in Bismarck, but I decided to go down there and confront my fears and confront Colonel Cranky. Go ahead and watch this.
Lovely day for kindness. There I was, high upon my perch. I saw him. No. Jumping Jehoshaphat, not him again. There he is in the distance. I saw him. At the speed of light, I traveled to stop my nemesis. There he was, hideous, horrible, harassing people. I should have known. Colonel Cranky. There's only one way to fight this kind of evil. Toe to toe. I thought I told you that if you came back to this city, you needed to come back kind.
You did say that, and I didn't listen. And now I'm crankier than ever before.
That's it, Colonel Cranky. You asked for it. It's time for a kindness transformation. Come with me. After several moments of a severe staring contest, it became clear that I had to show rather than tell. And so I took my arch rival and I brought him to the only place I could think of nearby that lives by the mantra of kindness, ministry on the margins. I talked about the good things that are happening, the kind people that are giving food and donating. We walked through the facility and met my dear friend, Sister Kathleen Atkinson, AKA Wonder Woman, and the wonderful volunteers doing so much good in this place, and the wonderful people coming, the kindness, the overwhelming love, the food pantry. I could see his heart beginning to soften. Colonel Cranky was starting to feel the love. You see, my friends, a little kindness goes a long way, or in this case, a lot of kindness changes a cranky heart. One thing we learned today that Colonel Cranky will never forget is that crankiness costs everyone and kindness is free.
Wow, that was sure a great day. When I stood up to my fears, I didn't let my fears conquer me, but I stood up to my fear of Colonel Cranky. It ended up changing a cranky heart. Isn't that a great story? And that can happen in every area in which you are afraid too. You can be a superhero even in the areas that are hard or challenging. Now, as you work on math today as a class, and as you work on your project this month in math, I want to challenge you with the promise that you, that's right, you boys and girls, can become math superheroes. And not just can, you will become math superheroes. You will have challenges just like I do, just like the Avengers do. You know, in life we have challenges. Sometimes we get injured, we get hurt, we get sick. How many of you have been sick so far this year? You know, Spider-Man had a cold and he blew a booger into a Kleenex that was so big that it broke a window. I mean, it was just crazy. We all get sick. Sometimes we just don't like what we have to do or work on. You know, if you have chores at your house, or you don't like your hair and you got to figure out what to do with your hair, or you just don't like a certain subject at school. It doesn't come naturally. It doesn't feel fun. We all have challenges. Colonel Cranky was one of my challenges, but I stood up to it. Maybe math for you is one of those challenges. You see, I think there's a Colonel Cranky inside each one of us that tells us, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Don't even try. Don't even try. It might be easier just to tell someone else they can't do it, or tease someone else, you're dumb. I know one student, I was watching one class, and they were doing math, and they were telling each other how dumb they were and how they couldn't do the math. And the teacher finally had to bring their parents in and say, this is not okay. You guys are hurting each other. What's really going on here? Are you afraid to stand up to your fear of math? And so often we just sometimes feel like giving up. All these numbers. What am I gonna do? They're scary. They're hard. It takes some work to learn how to do something I don't understand, and I don't know if I can. So I might just feel like giving up. But you have a long life ahead of you, boys and girls, and there's always going to be things that you have to learn how to do. Someday, how many of you hope to drive a car someday? Well, my guess is you're not very good drivers right now, right? You're going to have to learn how to drive a car. How many of you hope to fly in an airplane someday by being a pilot? Anybody want to be a pilot? You're going to have to work hard to be a pilot. Maybe you want to be a basketball player. Maybe you want to be a coach. Maybe you want to be a lawyer or a president or a politician, a policeman. All of those people learn how to do something that's hard. So we don't give up when things get hard. We don't listen to the voice of Colonel Cranky in our heads. We stand up to our fears and challenges. See, all of us are heroes. We are all given talents and abilities that we can do better than other things that we can do. And together we can make a difference together, because someone might be good at singing, and someone else might be good at dancing, and someone else might be good at talking, and someone else might be good at writing, and together we can be a great team. That's why the Avengers are such a great team. Some of you might be good at hockey or sewing or reading or writing or singing or playing an instrument or whatever it might be. We can share our knowledge and we can share our talents with one another. You don't have to be alone when you're working on math. We don't have to say, oh, I don't get this. We can say, I wonder if somebody else wants to work on this with me. We can share ideas and help each other out and tell each other not to give up. Can we work together? That's my question to you students. As you work on hard things in your life like math or other things that might seem challenging at times because you're learning new things and new things are challenging, can we work together? My guess is that you can. So here's what we need to do. We need to practice. We need to really practice to get good at something. You know, the first time I tried to fly, I flew into 2 trees. I knocked out a window in a house. I flew into a barber shop, and the barber accidentally was cutting someone with a buzzer, and he cut a strip down the middle of my head as I flew by into his bathroom. I drove into a semi-truck, punched a hole right through the side of the semi-truck box, and came out the other side. It was a bad, bad day. But every time I practiced flying, I got a little bit better and a little bit better. And now I'm still a bad flyer, but I'm much, much better than I was. It's not, some of you, math will never be the thing that you do for your job. You might not be an engineer, but math matters to all of us, because you have to figure out how to balance your checkbooks and manage your money and pay for your bills, and everyone needs math. And guess what? Some of you are going to change the world because you studied math. You're going to invent things. You're going to create things, because all the things that are invented or created or built to make our world better involve math. It's amazing. Some of you practice sports or will be good athletes because you practice sports. Some of you are going to be good writers because you practice writing. Some of you, all of you, I should say, are going to get better and better at math because you practice. You, my boys and girls, you are going to become superheroes in math. Even if it's not your favorite subject at school, maybe you like reading or recess or lunch better, you're going to become superheroes, because you're going to take the talents that you have, and other people are going to have their talents, and you're going to work together to learn math together. You're going to tell the Colonel Crankies in your mind to be quiet, because this team of math superheroes is going to win the day. Let me leave you with a question, my fellow math superheroes. I want to ask you how you can become mathematical superheroes who give others the power to overthrow the evil mathematical villain inefficient strategy. You see, there's lots of different ways to do math, isn't there? Some ways, they might work, but it might take you longer. It might not be the easiest, best way through, and it might not help you learn how to do math later. So there are evil mathematical strategies called inefficient strategies that can sometimes get in our way, and we're going to struggle and practice and work together as kindness superheroes to give each other the power to overthrow them, those evil mathematical villains. So I'm Captain Kindness, inviting you, boys and girls, to become mathematical superheroes. Good luck. I can't wait to talk to you at the end of the month to hear how this whole experience has gone, and thank you for the time learning about my past and dreaming about your future. So long, boys and girls. Sometime I'll be flying by, and make sure you wave.